Peace, love, and light, y'all. This video might act up because it's Wi-Fi I'm connected to. I don't know how it's really gonna do. But peace, love, and light, Islamism to all everybody. Hope everybody having a grand day. Assalamu alaikum, shalom, all that good stuff. Uh, I'm gonna just dive right into it. I'm just gonna talk about uh misconceptions in the movement. Call it M.I.M. Misconceptions in the movement, or M.I.M. Misconceptions in the movement. There's a lot of misconceptions about a lot of stuff, a lot of misleading information out here. A lot of people do this shit because they lazy and they don't want to do no research. So they rather just formulate opinions based off emotions and some shit that they heard somebody else say and based off how they feel about it. And that's not what it is. I'm gonna give you the facts. I'm gonna tell you where to go look at. I'm gonna give you the PDF. I'm gonna email it to you, all that. And I know other Novas out here who putting this information out that probably do the same thing for you, regardless if they leaving the drive or whatever. When I say a drive, I mean like a Google Drive link to access a certain book or document. My thing, I want to speak on nationality, people claiming their nationality and shit like that. Moors be out here telling people, to do this, and you fill out that little temple application. I was talking to a sister about it, and it really just don't get you nowhere. I don't, what I'm saying? I'm talking to the ones who dishonorable. If it's some temples out here that's honorable, don't take offense to it. I could care less if you do it not. I'm grown. I can speak on what I want. You know what I'm saying? But it's just like I'm just speaking on what's going down out here. And it don't be no effect. Y'all be out here teaching these people about nationality. Y'all not showing them how to type up no proper declaration. Y'all not even telling them about how to use certified mail and registered mail number, the use of the notaries, getting green cards. It's just a lot of stuff that come with it. It's a lot of stuff that should be mentioned when people speaking about these processes that don't get mentioned. And that's why I say it's a lot of misconceptions in the movement. A lot of people feel like this Moorish shit is a joke because them certain Moors that's bullshit in the movement and made it look bad. It just make other people not even want to indulge in it. And I want to clear some of that up. And when you're talking about nationality is kind of neck and neck with your status correction because you line yourself back up with your ancestors, whatever the case may be. And that's why this stuff is important. I always say that. You always gonna hear me say that's why this stuff is important. But a lot of misconceptions out here. Y'all from the sea physically with all this shit going on. Y'all are about to see why it's important to have your paperwork in standing. Okay, this shit is very important. Getting it published, things of that nature. All right. Speak on. I've been doing some reading and researching lately. Today, but I haven't reading and researching lately. I ain't did no videos in a little while. Kind of needed just to regroup myself. I've been researching. I ended up watching this movie called Laws of the Sun. Y'all need to go watch that movie. It's an animated movie talking about the history of the cosmos of the universe. It's put into an anime cartoon. You can talk about people having to make human sacrifices to certain creatures and shit like that for access to power and riches and shit like that in the realm due to dark and black magic, things of that nature. What's another thing I want to speak on? I've been reading the Moors and Masonry book, and I realized that it was a lot of European slaves. Just read into that a little bit. Read into that. Pulling it up now. I'm reading on the Sister KV Act of 1666. That's crazy that they formed that in their year, named by chance. Moors and Masonry. I was just reading up on it. I ain't gonna just dump too deep. I'm gonna just share a few pages, some stuff I thought was very interesting. Starting to understand why coming up with your own trust for your own family, individuals, and things of that nature is important. Uh, we had a lot. Our ancestors had a lot of European slaves, so they got a nice little Templar apron or a carpet or whatever they want to call it. But a lot of our ancestors had a lot of these folks in captivity. And reason this, knowing this type of stuff is important is because it gives you a confidence booster of how you should move and step in this movement into this Moorish information. Now, when you are more and you claim and you saying you're more or whatever, Moorish woman or more Moabitess or whatever, a lot of people they jumping in this stuff and they just claiming these titles because it sound good. But for one, you supposed to be tying everything back. And if you is jumping into this stuff, you are supposed to be able to correlate some of anything with whatever, you know. You're supposed to not just limit yourself to your resources that you intake into strengthen your mental. That's why you got to sharpen your iron. Iron sharpen iron. Uh, this stuff's supposed to give you a confidence booster. You know, we are Moors, we are Moroccans of you know what I'm saying, of this continent. This is America, Morocco, whatever you want to call it. This here, this is the land. This is what it was talking about when our ancestors had crossed over onto this continent. The division. And they speak of that in the Circle 7 Quran, the states, when we crossed over from Africa onto these American islands over here. They just talk about that. It's in our authority, chapter 47, I want to say. But knowing this stuff right here, and you have a history that it really gets interesting. You know what I'm saying? When you look into this stuff, because it shocked me when I read it. All right. J.D. Gerald here, J.D. Gerald Kelly and Stanley Lane Poole, the story of the Barbaric Corsairs, Islamic pirates of the Mediterranean, 1504 to 1881. That's a long time. That is a long damn time. Between 1628 and 1634, 8 French ships were captured according to the Rises valuation. I don't know if I'm pronouncing that word right. 4,752,000 livres, together with 1,331 slaves up to 1618. Algiers is governed by a pasha directly appointed by the Sultan. From 1680, the pasha was chosen by the Janissaries and other militia subject to the veto of the Sultan. In 1671, the Janissaries were elected a day out of their own number. All right, I shared this on my Facebook post. Livre is a unit of account equal to 1 pound of silver. Livre is derived from the Latin word libra. Libra means balance or pound. Livre is a monetary based on weights and measures with the principle of balance and equality. All right, the European response to the Moorish captivity of Europeans negotiating the ransom for the release of Europeans held in Moorish captivity. All right, there's a lot of stuff that people don't mention and things of that nature, but this type of book should be talked about amongst people in like publicly, like not publicly, but if you got other Moors or people that you interact with, this is something that y'all should be conversing. I recommend everybody, if you can get hold to this PDF, to go download it. It's a good PDF. Many charitable associations were established during the 12th and 13th centuries to negotiate the ransom of impoverished European captives held in Moorish and Turkish captivity. All right, the Quran, prophets say that the Turks are the keepers of the Islamic creed. But you go back so deep into history, look at the Turks. They had our skin tone, dark tones, dark melanated, heavy melanin inside their skin tone. Jean de Matha founded the Order of the Holy Trinity and the Redemption of Captives in 1199. Pope Innocent III approved the order in 1198. The order is known in France as the Mathurians or Donkey Brother. Stanley Lane Poole and James Douglas, Gerald Kelly, and the Barbaric Corsairs gives accounts of the orders ransoming Europeans held in Moorish captivity. Matthew's first voyage brought back 186 captives and succeeding generations. Some 20,000 slaves were rescued by good fathers, clad in their white robes with the blue and red cross on the breastplates. Three colors, symbolic of the three persons, fearlessly confronted the corsairs and bartered for the captive's ransom. All right. The order of the Virgin Mary of Mercy of the redemption of the captives, also known as Our Lady of Ransom, Latin Ordo Battae Mariae de Mercedes Redemptionis Captivorium, was established in 1218 by Saint Peter Nolasco in Barcelona for the redemption of Europeans held in Moorish Turkish captivity. The order members are known as the Mercedarian friars and nuns. In 1236, Pope Gregory, I believe that's the ninth, granted the Mercedarians formal recognition as a religious order under the rule of St. Augustine. The order exists in 17 countries. All right. And now when you sit up here and when you read this, you start realizing why are these people coming up with these secret or private orders and societies and stuff like that. Back in these times, they had to come up with these orders to restore the status of the people that was captives of their countries. I mean, that's just from what I'm reading. That's just the perspective that I'm seeing, from what I'm reading, right? So it makes sense to why they established all this stuff. Like, you know what I'm saying? And you haven't to just sit there and think like, okay, well, our ancestors, they did teach them and they had to help them establish order, and they taught them some of our culture and our history and things of that nature, just so they can get an understanding of how to govern themselves. All right. But a lot of people don't talk and they don't mention this. A lot of Moors don't talk about this stuff either. They keep this stuff concealed because a lot of these people still in this mentality. A lot of these Moors act like they came straight from these damn lodges into these temples just to infiltrate them or something. You know what I'm saying? So that's why I wanted to just read up on a little bit of this. So get people to understand. It's a lot of misconceptions. The people who coming up in this movement, your ancestors wasn't always slaves. And you had some ancestral rulers who had European captives, and they had some captives that looked like us. All right. But don't ever think that we was just always slaves. They show y'all that for intimidation to put fear inside y'all. That's all it's about, and that's what they do, and that's what this stuff has ever was. This is why they show lynchings on certain TVs, on certain shows. This is why they come out with these slave movies to break y'all spirit, to have y'all in fear, making y'all feel like it ain't no way. And a lot of people feel like that when you have inferior knowledge, when your knowledge is insufficient, then you're gonna be susceptible to fear. That's just how it go. All right. Budget Meekin in his book, The Moorish Empire, Historical Epitome, documents the statistics of redemptions of European captives from Morocco. The immense total slaves redeemed by the various order could be but vaguely guessed from such data as are now obtainable, which the following are specimens. In 1255, two English friars, Gilbert and Edward, sent home 460 slaves by a third. Friar George remaining themselves to suffer martyrdom for preaching a faith, which likewise befell two other English friars, Patrick and William, after having delivered 590. In 1307, Raymond Albert, prior general of the Order of Mercy, it's another order, delivered 300, some of them from Algiers. In 1313, it's an interesting number, Guillermo Garrado and Claude de Saint Romans, the preacher, rescued 236, and in 1330, 236 were brought back to Barcelona. In 1338, Juan de Luca recovered 116, and in 1342, Domingo Pardo, 150, include 50 on credit. All right. Big human trafficking going on, big kidnappings, big trafficking going on, big estate jacking, whatever you want to call it. This is what was going down. All right. We had some ancestors that moved. There was some real pirates out here. You know what I'm saying? Okay, in 1402, Juan de Herrera and Bernardo Arenas redeemed 258 in 1408. Denise de Mendoza and Severin de Paris, who was also converted to Grand Rabbi and brought him back, released 104. In 1411, Severin, this time only aided by the intervention of the Emir from the death for preaching the gospel, for which he was ultimately upheld at Algiers in 1418, liberated 140. All right. So it's just, you see, you got these random numbers of all these people that's just being these slaves that they had let out in captive. In 1431, Gomez y Martinez, who had 11 journeys ransom no less than 2,984. In 1447, Luis de Sarmiento and Bartolom, Bartolomeo de Segovia rescued 189, and in 1415, Alfonso de Valverde and Domenico de Sevilla 124. 40 years later, Pierre Bacor and the Jean Lavissa brought home 204. 1517, Antonio de Cineros. There's all these different people, but all this stuff is about our ancestors having them in captive, all right? Then they speak on some orders that they came up with. British captives from the Mediterranean to the Atlantic. 1563, 1760 by Nabil Matar in the first decade of the 18th century. Joseph Morgan served as vice consul in Algiers and became deeply involved in ransom in his countrymen at the same time that he could observe the dynamics of captives taken by the North Africans. In his numerous writings about Algiers and the Papirical states, Morgan gave voice to the Muslim response, asking the questions that Algiers and others must have raised when Europeans denounced them for piracy. All right, the former orders of redemptions. Friar, Middle English friar from Old French frere, excuse me, from Latin frater, brother. That's funny. Fraternity. That's funny. A friar is any member of any of the various, chiefly mendicant religious orders of the Roman Catholic Church. The main orders are the Black Friars, Dominicans, Grey Friars, Franciscans, White Friars, Carmelites, and the Austin Friar Augustinians. All right. Trinitarian and Mercedarian order specialized in captive redeeming involved in the ransoming of Europeans held in Moorish captivity, voyage to Barbers for the redemption of captives in 1720 by the Mathurin Trinitarian Father, London, 1735. The Dominican order was the original order, or was originally known. The order was originally known as the Order of Preachers, Latin Ordo Predicatori. The Roman Catholic religious order was founded by the Spanish priest Saint Dominic de Guzman in France and approved by Pope Honorius III in 1216. After the 15th century, 1400s, the orders become to be known as the Dominican Order of Dominicans, Order of the Holy Trinity, Order of the Our Lady of Mercy, Holy Christ of Burgos in the 17th century, Third Order of San Francisco in the 18th century. All right, now that's just a little touch of what's going on and what this book talking about. It's like between 1595 and 1627, the Spanish branches of the Order of the Holy Trinity and the Order of Our Lady of Mercy sent 10 ransom expeditions to Algiers. All right. So our people was picking these folks off. All right. So I just wanted to share that a little bit. That's what I was reading up on, because a lot of Moors, they don't just be jumping deep into stuff. All right. Now, when you hear Tariq Bey and you hear people like that, or Sir Ducatier and these certain more scholars speak on these things that was happening, I'm pretty sure they read this book right here. You know what I'm saying? Like, we got a lot of literature out here, but you know, people don't want to put their mind into it. I want to also speak about how I always talk about how the prophet had traders back then. And I got it right here, and this is what I'm reading right here. What's this say? Friday, Sunday afternoon, 8 to 10 p.m. Moor sign symbol of America. Shout out to Nova Dry Lee for coming up with this. Nova Dry Lee, when he came with the Moor sign symbol of America, in a way, he restored, or he opened the gate for us to restore our ancient orders and our ancient traditions and put them in a form of trust. That's what he did. All right. So you can understand why the weak mind is only people who gonna betray you is people who weak minded and lack understanding. All right. So you can understand why the movement was infiltrated, because he's finna speak on it right here. I'm finna read this out just from the prophet to be proclaimed in every minute meeting. Islam. I am glad to know that I have a few faithful Moors among you, and I desire for them to know the truth and the divine truth. There's a host of jealousy about me and the movement now by the same people of our side of the nation that claim it was only a joke and unreal. But now, since they have found out from the government officials and nations of the earth that this is the only sole foundations that all Asiatics must depend on for their earthly salvation as American citizens. See, it said American citizens, not U.S. citizens. All right. They are working every scheme that they can do to disqualify me so that them themselves can take charge of the situation. Sound like some people I know, people that want to be leaders and want to hold these titles just so they can say they got the title, but when you get to spitting degrees at them and spitting information and knowledge at them, they can't even cipher what you saying like that because they still in their church mentality. A lot of Moors came straight from the church. I'm letting y'all know now. That's why they got the mentality they got. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful Moors that attribute. Hold on. Excuse me. I have notified all these things to you long ago in the past. It is through the faithful ones that attribute to the movement and uplifted funds. The ones that pay their divine respect to me in the movement will be remembered. That's why I'm calling upon all faithful Moors to increase their faithfulness to me and your prophet in the divine Moors movement. I need finance and I need it badly, but never before have I needed so badly so as I do at the present, so I can shove aside the discord that is facing the nation. It all comes through jealousy of my fame and nobility. The nations of the world will not recognize the movement without our prophet being the head. It has been proven that by my works, which I have performed in the last few years. All right, now I just wanted to read that because the prophet was saying out his mouth that he had some hate within the movement, and that hate grew, and it polluted the vision of a lot of people. I'm talking about heavily. I hereby inform all members that they must put an end to all radical and agitating speech while on their jobs, homes, or on public streets. We advocate peace and not destruction. Stop out your cars with the European for it causes confusion. There has been much confusion caused by members trying out their cars. The cars are for your salvation. Failure of obeying my orders will be severe consequence. We are for love, truth, peace, freedom, and when these principles are violated, justice must then take its course. All right, this is what the prophet was telling these folks back then. He was telling some of these Moors. Because it's the spirit of a lot of it. We got the spirit of this faithful Moors in the movement right now. I'm talking about right now. All right. Any member or a group of members that seek to hold malicious feeling toward the temple of the prophet or to violate the divine covenant of the Moorish movement will receive a reward from Allah for their unjust deeds. All true Moors must obey the laws laid down to them by their prophet. If they lose confidence in their prophet, give up your card and button, cease wearing your turban or fez, and return to the state where I, the prophet, found you. For this is a holy divine movement found by the prophet Noah Ali. And if the prophet is not right, then the temple is not right. The prophet is sending out a divine plea to all true Moorish Americans that they may do their part in protecting their prophet in the temple. This is the everlasting movement founded by the prophet through the will of Allah to redeem his people from their sinful ways. Peace, Noah Ali. All right. Now, when you think about state, you think about like your state, like the state where you reside in, right? But when you think about state, you also can look at it as I can leave you in that state of mind where I found you. Because when I found you, you was in a dead state of mind. What the prophet brought life. Because we didn't have no national, like before he came, we didn't have no national standing no more because United States had been defeated and stuff like that. You see what I'm saying? So with all that being put together, being put into play, him giving you a nationality, telling you to claim your free national name, we having a flag, him putting the land in trust and the fee simple absolute, giving us absolute sovereignty over the land, him doing all those things, restored everything back that we needed and giving us a constitution also. But let me say, I think it's 5 things that said take make a nation, a free national name, constitution, land, a flag, of course, and the religious creed. 5 things. You see every nation that you got some type of religion at back. All right. When these British colonizers came over here doing their bullshit, colonizing with the help of some traders, because don't nobody know us like us. I can't stress that enough. Like, y'all, I mean, these folks, they wasn't just that strong just to come and just overtake some shit. But they really did take it, but they did. But in so many ways, they kind of took us away from the land by paper. So when they came over here on their land, spying on us and declaring their independence. That's what all this stuff was about. All right, they was trying to rob the people of the land of their state. All right, so that's why I say everything that he brought was important, and this is why I got infiltrated. This is why you don't hear people see. You don't see people too much. You know what I mean? You got a lot of buzz coming out now. A lot of people talking about Moors and stuff now, but you don't really see too many people, bro. Like talking about the Moorish Science Temple, not on no public TV. You weren't there seeing nobody on public TV talking about no Moorish Science Temple. You seen T.I. mention nationality. That's why I say y'all folks are talking about reparations. Okay, you talking about reparations. Okay, are you still classified as a U.S. citizen under the 14th Amendment, or African American, or Negro American? If not, you need to be quiet about some reparations. You have to be a national standard. All right. This is why the prophet came with this. Once again, back to my first video I made, free national name importance. That's the first step. All right. And you claiming all that interest in the equity that the straw man name that they came up with. All right. That's what this stuff is about. This shit ain't nothing to be playing with. Y'all out here playing with this information and like this shit a game, bro. This shit ain't no fucking game. Y'all don't want to read this shit or none of that. Just be on the bowl. But this is why this stuff is important. All right. And you coming up with I'm in the process now trying to figure out how to put me a trust together, express trust, coming up with my own seals. I've been watching David Straight. David Straight, he cold with it, he cold with it, you know, putting it together. That's what I've been studying, that's what I've been reading up on. I've been watching these videos. A lot of people don't even talk about that. Like, you know, coming up with the trust. You got more, they won't even show you how to do it. Everybody trying to charge you for everything, which is cool. But if that's how it goes, then okay, that's all right. But eventually I'm gonna go join SPC University. I'm gonna go fuck with UCL. I don't got time nobody handicapping me doing something for me that I don't even know how to do it myself. That's what I'm on right now. Like, so but that's why this stuff is important. Though. You come up with your trust, that's kind of like your personal constitution and what you abide by. And you put it on file and get it published and things of that nature. All this stuff is important, you know what I'm saying? And that's why the prophet brought it. You line everything up with what he brought, then that's how we build and come together and have unity. But a lot of people don't have that unity because there's so many people that don't want to take accountability for their misdeeds or their misinformation. Like, if anybody ever feel like I misinformed you on something, let me know, because I'm all about correction. All right, I'm not one of the people that just feel like I'm always right and none of that. 96% of the time I do kind of, but for other 4%, it's a slight 4% window that I might be wrong on something. I might jump the gun on. A lot of times I speak on something, I'm speaking from facts and research and shit that I personally witnessed and read. I'm not just like other people out here just reading or going off what somebody that they watched on a video. Okay, y'all people talk about the Anunnaki and stuff like that, and you talk about this, and that, but what did you read it from? Did you get it from the YouTuber you was watching? Did he give you the book that he got it from? No, y'all didn't. Y'all just listening to what somebody YouTuber saying. All right. I read straight out what a sauce said. I'm not gonna do no playing like that with nobody. Like, you gotta save yourself. No, at least I brought you what it takes to save a nation. Take it to save yourself. You meant that. All right. This the says the QV Act. Now, this is the thing where a lot of people, another subject, why claiming your nationality is important. So you can access your estate. All right. All these estates are worth millions. We already rich. When they say that, they mean that we are already rich. That's true. We rich already. But you got to formulate it, put it together once you reach that age of mental confidence, when you reach that age of majority. I'm 30, and I'm really coming to an age of majority at 30 years young. But I jumped in this mortgage move at 23, 24 years old. And I was just real heavy on like the spiritual side, the esoterics. I was really on the holy tablets heavy then. I was reading into them holy tablets real tough. And, I was on that side of it. Then I got to understanding the law and things of that nature. I got to moving people who claimed they had a temple, but it was really a fucking study group. And and all type of other stuff. I ain't gonna speak too deeply on the situation, expose that individual, but it was a fucking study group. But even with that study group, the demonstration, I got a basis understanding of it. So the reason, the more I get, the deeper I get into this, I'm starting to realize why this stuff is important, because this is why they attach it. This is why they came up with the 14th Amendment and shit like that, and start attaching the birth certificate to y'all. I can't say this shit enough, bro. I can't say it enough. What am I looking for? Lessons on culture and history. See if they got some about the enslavers. The enslavers, the situation with your birth certificate. That's why they came up with all this stuff, man, because this got so many millions worth. But see, that's the thing. You can't cast pearls amongst swine, because you tell people this, they think they finna jump right up in this shit and get some money. Boy, this shit might take you years to access this shit if you ain't doing this shit right, especially if you're trying to skip steps. It could take you a few months too. It's all about what your paper like, and you willing to pay for the information and sit down and read it. This why they be trying to keep y'all working all the time. You keep these motherfuckers working, they ain't gonna be able to, they ain't gonna keep them working, they ain't gonna never get to sit down and see what the bigger picture is. That's the game. Keep everybody sitting down, they ain't gonna be able to sit down, they ain't gonna be able to figure out what the bigger picture is or what's going on. We keep everybody distracted with jobs, sending their kids to public schools. We got a social security number, so we making big money off of them. You know what I'm saying? Like, y'all ain't never thought about that, like how public school is free and why it's free. When you put that motherfucking social security number in, it's some shit that they can't even see. I mean, it's some shit that they can see on their side that you can't see. Don't be no motherfucking fool. Shout out to everybody who homeschooling their kids, who ever thinking about homeschooling their kids. Because when they get to trying to pull this shit, trying to hold kids hostage in the school, don't let them out and all that do it bullshit, or trying to run tests on them, that shit gonna be real. All right. But y'all still got y'all kids in public school. All right. When that shit jump off, if you caught in the middle of the fire, I'm sorry. I mean, it is what it is. You know, ancestors willing. There's so many prophets and people that talk to y'all about this stuff and try to tell y'all, but nobody seems to give a fuck. Everybody caught up in fashion and materialism and things of that nature. But this is why all this, like I say, this is why this stuff is important. I can't pull up the ins leaguers, but what I'm gonna pull up though, I'm gonna pull up this constitution. All right. I'm gonna pull this constitution up. And then say this right here. Man, y'all gotta know y'all rights too, bro. Y'all gotta know this law. Y'all got to know this law, bro. When you know this law, age, it gives you a different type of ammo. Let me click on this right here. See what we got going. To that execute, view act. Man, close all that out. No. Close all that out. Active ingredient. Okay. D. No. Animal. Term animal means all vertebrate and invertebrate species included, but not limited to man, not limited to man, other mammals, birds, fish, and shellfish. All right, that's one thing. Now I'm gonna read into this act, but I need y'all to understand how when they set up these certain things, why they set this shit up, how they did it. Hold on. It's taking all that. I gotta minimize it. There we go. Report forms and notice. No. It's over here. Constitution for North America continent. That's probably what it's on the North American Constitution. Is that what it's on? Now, when I tell you I be getting lost in my own information, I think it's on the document. I be getting lost in my own laptop. Dude, I can't really find this Constitution right now. I'm just looking, you got is. I can't find it. I'm looking too hard. I got that open right now. Can't find it. I can't find it. It's right in my face. I know it is. It'd be crazy. Somebody watch this video and they be like, "Oh yeah, it was right there the whole time you looked over it." Anyway, I ain't gonna jump too deep and find that Constitution, but y'all know which one I'm talking about when they say anybody born within the jurisdiction and subject thereof is anybody born within the jurisdiction of the U.S. is a subject thereof. Alright. They only did that by way of your birth certificate, but they didn't tell you what you was binding into. So this is why they owe you so much equity and things of that nature. Okay. I'm gonna just read a little bit of this system right here. All right. Uh, our translation. Okay. It says the QV trust. This is something they created to enslave our citizens and get access of your estates. I believe it's more so after death. Gives people eggs. My homegirl sat up there and asked me. Shout out to David Straight too, because he broke this shit down real good. My homegirl asked me. She said, why they got all this money to give out, but they so in debt? She said, how the government got all this money to give out and they in debt? It's yo, tropical smoothie. The only one yeah, by you. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Okay, just come through. I'm on my laptop recording. All right. Close that out. All right. An act to put any misunderstanding by the proof of the death of a person beyond the seas or not existing themselves, upon whose property does depend. Public notice that sets the QV, public name, body, corporate, beneficiary, interested part of the property in the state has gone beyond the sea, and the party entitled to receive the estate, the grantor, government through the law of reversion, cannot find out whether they beneficiary, interested party to property in the state is alive or dead. It is effective the first laws of manors. The others have granted estates by lease for one or more lives, or else for years determinable upon one or more life or lives. And that hold on. And it has often happened that such people for whose lives such estates have been granted have gone beyond the seas or absented themselves for many years, not use the estate. The person who is renting and granting property and the person who is entitled to the property back cannot find out whether such person, beneficiary / interested party, be alive or dead because the estate property has never been used. And then when you say party, you're talking about the law of the water now. You start to come up with your own contract. When people come up with a security agreement between their national names, some people do a security agreement between them as their free national name and you, and they appoint their government name or they appoint their vessel, sell they ship in a security agreement. They appoint their ship as a trustee or whatever. All right. So you talking about party, you talking about water, you talking about contract. You know what I'm saying? Okay, so by reason of such, the person who is renting and granting the property and the person who is entitled to have the property back have been held out of possession of their estate, have been held out of possession of their estate for many years after all the lives upon which such estates depend are dead in regard to that person who is renting and granting the property and the person who is entitled to have the property back have brought actions for the recovery of their interest and has been provided at the death of their tenants, user of the name and interested party when it is almost impossible for them to discover the same. For remedy of which mischief, damage caused by another person's actions or inaction so frequently happening to such person who is renting and granting the property back, or the person who is entitled to have the property back. All right. It is important to know that we are granted a tenancy on land or lease and are assumed to be dead by declaration of this act because at common law, the owner has a reversionary interest in the property of law of death and absentee. Okay, we want to go to it. We want to see what it's talking about. This video is so unexpected, but this is one of the misconceptions in the movement of information. We're just talking about the conscious movement. We're talking about the information movement too. So it's a lot of movements going on. All right, it's gonna act like a dork and take all day. Oh, it popped it up. Line. Declare dead after sentence to death. Okay, I guess it's another term that mean it. All right. Most countries have a set period of time, 7 years in many common law jurisdictions, after which an individual is presumed to be dead if there is no evidence to the contrary. However, it is if the missing individual is the owner of the significant estate, the court may delay ordering the death certificate to be issued if there has been no real effort to locate the missing person. If the death is thought to have taken place in international waters or in a location without a centralized and reliable police force and or vital statistics, registration systems, or other laws may be in effect. All right. Instancy is the condition of the estate of a person who dies on the property greater than the sum of their enforceable debts and funerable expenses without having made a valid will or binding declaration. Alternatively, this also may apply where a will or declaration, perhaps the declaration of the Sexty Beach Act in 1666 has been made, but only applies to part of the estate. The remaining estate forms the interstate estate. Entity law, also referred to as the law of descent in the distribution or the interstate succession statute, referred to the body of law that determines who is entitled to the property from the estate under which rules of the inheritance. All right, talking estate, that's another form of trust. Trust, empire, dynasty, kingdom, whatever you want to call it. It's all a state. All this stuff is based on trust in the state. All right, the trust is really a state is really a trust in a way, I think. Whether a state deals with property, but you got the trust too. I can't really explain it right now. I'm gonna look it up. I'm gonna go over it in a little minute. All right. In England and Wales, the instancy rules have been uniform since 1925 in the Administration of Acts, the Administration of Estates Act 1925. Some very important acts were passed this year. Also, some of these, the Finance Act of 1925, the Law Property Act of 1925. All these acts was passed in 1925. 1 + 9 + 2 + 5 = 8. It was a big change and shit started happening then. That was a big change. It's crazy that they passed these acts and then the prophet came with the Moorish temple in the midst of these times too. And then he died 4 years after they probably came up with these acts. I low-key want to read into them, but I'm gonna do some research into them by myself, and then I'll come back and elaborate on it. Ain't no limit to what I'm reading or none of that. I don't mind reading nothing, nobody. Like I say, I'm just here to help raise the collective consciousness. I don't want no followers and all that shit. Follow yourself, follow your spirit, follow your intuition. Your intuition, the universe is inside of you. All right. Sexty QV remained beyond the sea for 7 years together, no proof of their lives. Judge and asked to direct the verdict as though the Sexty QV were dead. If such persons or persons whose lives are such estates have been or shall be granted as afford said shall remain beyond the seas or elsewhere absent themselves in this realm by the space of 7 years or 7 years. Damn, hold on. You spelled that like that. I don't think they spelled that like that on accident. In the space of 7 years or 7 years together, no sufficient evidence proof may be made of lies such person or person respective of any action commenced for the recovery of such tenements by lessons or reversions. In every such case, the person or persons upon whose life or life such a state dependent shall be accounted as naturally dead. And in the action brought for the recovery of the said tenements by the lessoners or the reversioners, their areas are assigned as the judges before whom such action shall be brought shall direct the jury to give their verdict as if the person so remaining beyond the seas or otherwise absent himself dead. What that mean right there? Now, Y'all sit here, y'all ask. I know what I'm gonna do. It just came to me. I'm gonna put that clip. I'm gonna put a clip of one of them David Straight videos in this video at the beginning, like I did the Bobby Hemmett video, and I'm gonna put the exact part where he talk about the balance of the estate and stuff like that. This is why I'm like, it's a whole fucking scheme. They come and give you a name. They come up with a allowance for your mama to fill out, something to be turned to convert it to a negotiable instrument, a lawn, birth certificate. They got everybody in bondage, on file, New York Stock Exchange up there in Washington, D.C. Your address, when you put your address, how you put it, you pretty much saying that you are in Washington, D.C. Anytime you capitalize your address and you don't put care of, and you just put the number in and you just go right to putting it, and you put it in all bold letters or wherever you do, and you put the zip code without the bracket, without putting the brackets on it, don't put without US, that address is in Washington, D.C. That's something I learned. You'll read it and you'll understand it. Every address, any address that's a part of any address that's located in anything where it say the state of, city of, corporations, not real government. So-and-so state is the national state, all right? Like they said, the Moorish Science Temple is a nation state, okay? It's make sense. All right, that term that I read was just another name for air, so I ain't gotta go deep into that. My bad, y'all. I just be drifting out. But that's why this stuff is important, though. All right, that's why the Constitution got wrote, all that stuff. All right, and I just thought about something. It just came to me. If the Constitution got wrote, what they say, 1787, I think, I'm not sure. I'm just sitting up here thinking, because it's like, this calendar off is fuck. Like, I think right now we in the year 1443 or 42. We're in the year 1442 according to Moorish calendar. I don't know. Anyway, my bad. I just drifted out for a second, sitting up here thinking. But this is why they come with all this stuff. This is why the prophet established Moorish Science Temple. All right. Well, he established the estate. That's why this stuff is important. That's why it helps. And this is a misconception. A lot of this stuff don't get broke down that thoroughly in the movement due to people wanting to withhold people. A lot of Saturn and Satan. I hope y'all know that. So anytime you got somebody that's trying to restrict or put a limit on you, the universe, God himself is boundless, infinite, abundant, all that. All right. So anytime somebody trying to like put a limit on you, straight Saturn energy. Saturn is the devil, the Satan. When you go watch Hellraiser, I think they mentioned Saturn's ring on there or something like that. When you think of Planet Saturn, they got a ring around it. You think of something like being held in bondage, right? Like that's what they doing. So like when these people waging war on you, police stop you, right? Because they go off the presumption that you are a U.S. citizen, and that you're their property. And this is why, me included too, I'm trying to figure out a way to do it, but I ain't gonna be stupid though. We play the game how it go till you can get out of it. Gotta start registering our cars at the DMV. And the more and more I understand this stuff, when you do this stuff the proper way, your paperwork proper, it's all in line, it's all in order. You realize why you don't have to register your vehicle, especially if you get it off the lot, because you're foreign to everything that they got going on. So when you purchase them Since the word everything is based off commerce, and these people are allowed to regulate commerce. The state of corporation, city of corporation, county of corporations. They are corporations are regular. They are all created to do commerce. Corporeal, corpse, corporations. Business entity. It's not a real entity, it's a ghost. It's an entity. It's like a spiritual entity. So you sit up here and you think about all that. And they do all the stuff when they create this. And it's all for them to contract and do commerce, regular commerce and trade. And that's how they got us a part of that, because we fucked up on our contracts. We just was most of our we didn't have the knowledge and information that we needed to know to combat it. Like I say, once again, I can't say this enough. When you go so many years of people not reading, don't want to look into shit, don't want to look up nothing. You go so many years into that, right? And you don't say nothing to these people. They nuts gonna get big. They gonna get the tea bagging you and shit like that, putting they nuts on top of their motherfucking head. You stupid motherfucker. You don't know what you talking about. You coming up in this courtroom. You ain't got no paperwork in order. You ain't got no trust put together for yourself or for your salvation. You ain't got your land titles. You ain't got your contract agreement. You ain't got none of that. You know what I'm saying? And it's a misconception. That's why I say it's a lot of bullshit Moors in the movement, because they should be breaking this down how I'm breaking it down. But it's Wednesday, it's Mercury Day. It's why the Allah, the universe, however you want to call it, sent me on this day of Virgo, a messenger of Mercury to relay this and break this shit down to y'all. As I learned, and when from my studies, because I study too. I'm still studying. You ain't gonna never stop studying in this shit. Don't be no motherfucking fool. You can never stop studying. Don't ever feel like you can't. You're gonna reach a certain point to where you ain't gotta study nothing. All right. You always gonna have to study, period, for yourself, unless you want to be led into some bullshit. If you read for yourself, you can't let nobody lead you into no bullshit, because you got the knowledge to not be led by no bullshit. Simple. I just said it for time. Like bullshit. So, with all that being said, everything that's going on is a big misconception. They got people thinking that you know they got some type of control over them when they really don't. A lot of y'all scared because y'all still eating these bullshit lower chakra foods that's feeding your root, sacral, and your solar plexus chakras. Red, orange, and yellow. I talked about that, I believe, in my anime correlation, overstanding of the dark side. I think I talked about that, the colors of the food you be eating, or the color of the restaurants. All this shit is Masonic in order. If y'all don't think this shit is not no fucking grand scheme, it's like, okay, boom, reduce their nationality, reduce their status. We're gonna make them the bottom feeders of the pyramid. Feed them bullshit, feed them pork, send them to church, make them, convince them that they need to get a job, convince them that they need to go to public school and they need to be schooling their own kids, convince them of all that. All right, boom, we're gonna put these little people up here in these positions on this part of the pyramid, make them feel like they got some position of power, because you know niggas will sell out for any little thing to make them feel like they running something, because niggas was stuck in the slave mentality for so fucking long. So nigga, if they stuck in the slave mentality, somebody get them a position to make them feel like they got some power. You think they're not gonna try to abuse it? I wouldn't, but these people out here that will. You can tell people who got a noble character based on the position that they got. You got bosses, you got leader, a boss. Do this, do that, do this. You got a leader. This motherfucker, he the site manager of the whole project. He's still getting out here picking up shovels and shit. He should be in his office doing paperwork. That's a leader. He got high rank, but he's still showing people how he wants shit done. He ain't got time. He ain't got number time. All right. So that's what's going on, man. This shit like for real, bro. For real. It's deep out here. But I traveled so far, I lost what I was at, what I was saying. I got down here Stan Jones on here. I don't like that. That's my government name, y'all. What was I saying? I lost it, y'all. He was supposed to be led. Yeah, talking about pretty much being you supposed to be reading, lead by example. Read for yourself. Don't let nobody lead you into no bullshit. But back to the plot. That's what I was breaking down the scheme. So you got y'all down here, they feeding y'all the bullshit. You got the people up here, your church doctors, your middle-aged folks, people who got businesses. A lot of these people that got high-ranking positions. A lot of these people that got high-ranking positions too, they got some type of corporate uh, independence because they part of, a lot of these people went to these colleges and shit, and them colleges and all that other shit just be a big, that's just something, that's like a, you know, you got the external purpose or the external front purpose, but they front like this is for, you got the internal purpose. All right, come to school, come to college, go to college, get you a little degree in our education. Let us, your enemy, the Europeans, the Britishmen, the Bar Association, and all that shit, let it come to our schools and we're gonna teach y'all, right? And then later on, y'all gonna have to come to this secret meeting and get down with this sorority. And a lot of people that's in these mid-age range, they part of these sororities, alpha betas or whatever. It's cool. I ain't knocking it, but I'm just letting y'all know what's going on. That shit is a lower form of masonry. If you don't think them little fraternity schools ain't no lower form of masonry, you fucking crazy. And that's what that's what the kill really is. And you got certain people that get involved and they want to go deep into it, and they come out here and oppress us. So these are the people up here that's helping the higher class feed us the bullshit. You know, you got your rappers, you got your entertainers. They convincing y'all to go spend your money, flashing stacks of money, and shit ain't worth shit. Federal Reserve knows flashing a stack of shit, really a stack of wood, just to persuade your ass that this is the life you need to be pursuing to get your mind off what I'm talking about right now, about this free national name importance and all that. Trust, understanding law, overstanding law for your own benefit and your good. All right. This is why all this stuff is set up like this. TV, everybody believe, motherfuckers believe everything the folks say on TV. I can't even take them serious, bro. I can't even take nobody, any motherfucker who watch the news and think that shit is the truth. You a fucking joke. I don't fuck who you is or how you feel or how scared you is or whatever. All that shit is bullshit. Because if you was a national, if you was a sovereign person, regardless of what your ethnicity is, if you was a sovereign person, you would know that all that shit bullshit. That shit ain't got nothing to do with me. All that shit got to do with everybody who fed into that. That's why I had shot that video on my video, free versing. My YouTube channel, 720 State of Mind, the number 720 State of Mind by Yaalon. I got a video called Free Versing. I'm talking about energy jacking when they got everybody connected to them pods. All right. So y'all, this is what I'm saying. This is why this shit is important now. Think about this. I'm gonna speak from a celestial term, then I'm gonna come down to the manifesting 3D world term. All right. You a starship. Your body a starship. It's a ship for your soul energy. That's why when you look at your vision, you can't look at your face. Like, see how I'm looking at my face on this laptop? You can't look at your face like that unless you're in the mirror. It's shit like a real video game. All right. And you steer this body. So your body is a starship for your soul, right? So you said now your mama waters like a ship do, because you sitting in water for, they say it's 9 months, but this shit really about a year process. I'm gonna go into this because I read that in one of them books off RV Bay. But you sitting in water, right? That your body forming, your ship forming, but your energy, your spirit is getting born and it's getting created in the cosmos, as above, so below, right? You come aboard. They wage war at you already, because for one, I can't say this shit enough. We shouldn't be having kids at the hospital. All right. But this is why I'm breaking all this shit down, why all this is set up. This pyramid scheme. They waging war on y'all. We are the stars that they waging war about. Star Wars. All right. For you motherfuckers that think astrology and shit is not important, knowing that there's so many different classes and shit and sections in this astrology. There's so much science, there's so many different levels of this shit. And y'all sit up and down playing astrology like it ain't nothing. Cool. Once again, like I'm saying though, this is why this stuff is important. When your mama give birth to you, you got somebody right there to record you. They already trying to determine you lost that seed. All right. Civil more some mortis. It's a word that means civilly dead. Y'all know what I'm talking about. You're more, you know what I'm talking about. The word, that term, the Latin term, that means that you're civilly dead. This what they doing. They waging war on your ass at birth. They coming at your mama. She induced and all that. She high with whatever they gave her. She not even in her right mind. Asking her to fill paperwork out. For one, that's violation, right? That's a natural violation. You should never come at me when I'm in a incomplete state of mind with no contract. You shouldn't come in a woman. You see what I'm saying? So boom, they do all that. They send that shit off to a certain branch of government, and then they create this name, capitalize your shit. I don't know if y'all remember when I went into that video. You know what I'm saying? When they capitalize your name, it's the U.S. DOD Assurances Manual. Well, when they capitalize your name, that means it's the name of a ship or operation. This is water. This is Admiralty Maritime. This is what they run. They speak on this stuff in the book called The Laws of a Land. Shout out to Yusuf Bell. I think he mentioned that book, The Laws of a Land, about this same process of trafficking people. All right. This is why I had to mention to y'all and the more information and let y'all know why our folks is terrorizing them. We was doing the same shit. It's formed different. Pirates, kidnapping them. You need to give us a ransom for them. And there need to be some paperwork behind it. And we need to be able to negotiate with it. It's the same shit. It's kind of like a universal karma. We lost the mentality and shit. And we got the intermingling and shit. They got strong. And then we had to, all the times while we was in bondage, we had to get back strong. Look at it from an esoteric standpoint. Let's make it seem like we created them because we was getting weak. And we needed somebody to put us in slave and to push us to get back and build back up. And now we at that point. All right. But it's like I said, it's a karmic thing. Like our ancestors had them enslaved, they did the same thing. Some of our ancestors traded us out. That's why some of us in the predicament we in now. Django is a prime example of that. You know what I'm saying? So with them creating that birth certificate, sending it to where the fuck they sent it to register you as a corporate entity, dead at sea, a corpse. They register you like you a corpse. When you ain't classified how you need to be classified, your status not on point, you are a corpse. Ready for slaughter, like Walking Dead. This what that shit really mean. Y'all watch some zombie movies and think that shit just really mean. I mean, it's getting to that too, but that's what The Walking Dead all about. The Walking Dead is all about people not having their right status, not being nationally tied to nothing. Not got no, ain't just bastardized. You bastardized from your nation. You bastardized from religion, from your original religion anyway. You just bastardized. They just beheaded you. You know what I'm saying? And that's why that pyramid on the back of that dollar, that eye, we disconnected from our true consciousness. So their eyes, what the Egyptians was on. But they do all these things, man, to get you in bondage though, and they wage a war on you. So like when the police walk up one side of your car and the other walk up on the other side, they coming at you as a ship. They pull us some military marine shit. And they don't even be fucking knowing what they doing. They just following orders. But when I see Europeans become police officers, I kind of be looking at it like, that's kind of, I'm not surprised. That's kind of one of y'all ancestors' orders and shit that they created for y'all. A lot of them police officers in the fraternal order of the police. So you might, they low level ranking masons or whatever. And I was just reading now David Straight said that these police, when they hire people, police officers, they hire ex-military officers with low ranking IQs, shit like that. So all this shit is military in nature. They wage a war on you. All right. And if you want to get out the war, you need to correct your status and claim your vessel and claim all the interest in it. So this is why this shit is important, because they start jacking. They jacking you for your energy. This is why on the Matrix, when they got them tied to them pods, this is what they doing. This is how the universe is getting around. This shit got to be intergalactic or something, because it's like, why Are they putting this shit in movies about these evil but malevolent beings going to different planets and harvesting them? Like, make that shit make sense. Like, the shit real, but that's one of the misconceptions that people be having about this stuff. Like, they don't be understanding how deep it go. I laugh shit. Take care of some little business, y'all. Right back to what I was on. No, I'm not. Taking the place. Hey, boom. That's what I was saying though. Yeah. So with that being said, these police officers, all the shit that they got going, this military, it's all strategized, plotted out beforehand. They put these people in the form of like they protecting y'all, but they really enforcing policies. All right, statutes, codes, and ordinances. That's what they doing. All the shit that's organized to keep y'all from understanding y'all states. The more motherfuckers don't know about their states, the more money that we can get off motherfuckers when they die. Now y'all sitting up here thinking that these people that they staging these motherfucking killings and shit, these grand killings, how is that whole fucking movie today that's getting shot? Whole buses of kids, 56 kids is on the bus, 33 of them dead. And these kids could be anywhere from 12 to 15 years old. The motherfucker like, think you 6, 7, you worth 3, 4 million. You might be worth that at birth. Because you energy, you a creation of God. You know what I'm saying? In the Bible, when God giving instructions and stuff, those are trust indentions of what he wants you to do and what you're gonna receive, the benefits of that you're gonna receive for upholding the obligations and the instructions that God gave us. So when you see me make a post on my Facebook page saying that, talking about Bible thumpers and how y'all stupid for knocking the Bible, you still are, because the Bible got so many fucking trust in there. If you want to use it, you can perform a trust and base it off some scriptures in the Bible. Your motherfucking congressman or whoever you want to call it, they already declared the Bible as the word of God. So that's why the prophet said, don't throw your Bibles away. We're gonna use it to condemn the Europeans. All right. We're gonna use the child to plagiarize against y'all. All right. That's what he was talking about. I think they're hard. So with that being said, that's the whole game with this stuff. Keep moving forward. That's the whole game, what they got going on. So all these I just seen some more stupid shit on Facebook that just pissed me off. People in this movement, they be so amped up and they be angry. They just be so amped to just talk, like from some personal opinion. Like, you offend a motherfucker like me who do research. Like, you see what I'm saying? And can my intuition line up with this information? But anyway, so that all this shit was formulated to keep y'all blind from y'all stage. And that's what I'm saying. Y'all sitting up thinking that these kids, because you worth millions as a child, you know what I'm saying? Especially when they put that number on you, because you energy, you fucking energy. You are energy. Money is energy, it's currency. Currency is cash flow, it's flow of energy. Money is a physical manifestation of fucking energy, of Federal Reserve notes. They're not worth shit, so say silver certificates or something. All right. This is what the shit is about. Y'all think these fucking killings and shit happen in the mass shootings and shit is for a reason? Now these people claiming these fucking mistakes. Go watch Black Beach. If you understand trust and you understand access to QV and you understand the scheme, I need y'all to go watch Black Beach. When y'all watch these shows and they coming up, when you hear people talking about coming up with beneficiary programs, that's what they're talking about. This is what's going on. All right. So you got what you call high sorcery disguised in the form of business. Okay? Because the people that you don't never fucking see, you got somebody they might got a trust. Let's say I start some the Astro-Mercurian, the Astro-Mercurian, Venusian galactic empire. The Astro-Mercurian Venusian Galactic Empire Trust, right? That's private. That's a trust. All right. I'm the settler of that trust, but I'm the one that made the trust. Okay. So let's say I make this trust, right? And that's why I say shout out to David Strait and Clint Coons. I make this trust. It's private. So we already got that on file. I got this bitch recorded with the county. I got everything, right? And then I go into the business world and I go to work. So instead of me, what I'm gonna do is come up with a business, a LLC, or whatever I want to come up with, a trading company or a partnership or association or whatever, right? And let's say I come up with like 10 businesses or something, and they all different things. One could be for media, one could be for sports or not sports. Let's say one could be for religion, one could be for law, one could be for geographical whatever the fuck. All right, all these I got all these right. All these fucking businesses is owned by the Astro Mercurian Venusian Galactic Empire, right? So when the motherfucker come looking for something, you just gonna come straight to the business that you associated with if they offended you, right? Motherfucker not gonna think to come fuck with that trust because I'm the only motherfucker know I got that trust. So that's what's going on. The people at the top of the pyramid, they created all these different things to distract you. Media outlets, all that to distract you from knowing what's going on. All right. And so I just wanted to mention that this is what's going on. All this shit is organized from the top of the pyramid to the bottom. They using the pyramid scheme with your ancestors in your face. That's really low key blasphemy in the fucking way. Y'all using our ancestors' knowledge, and then y'all coming up with all these businesses and coming up with a scheme, putting it in the form of a fucking pyramid, being funny, really fucking mocking you. Y'all thought they was mocking you with that Bible. They mocking you with every form of motherfucking culture you was connected to. But they mocking you though. This shit big business. This why this shit's so important. This is why you see them staging mad shootings so they can go cash in and collect. That's why they talking about the year 2030 and shit like that. By the year 2030, it's 2022. I think they were saying something about a 7-year gap for unclaimed estates. Nah, what's really happening is they trying to depopulate this motherfucking they trying to do a depopulation scheme. So but by 2030, they can cash in on the motherfucking estates and start their little bullshit with they funding. That's what this shit really about. I'll be no motherfucking fool. But anyway, that's why I say it's a big misconception. And so coming up with claiming your free national name, bride, and I know this video gonna probably be 2 hours long. I don't be trying to make these videos long, but I gotta make sure I post this video right here today on the same day that I did it. I got to. That's why coming up with your own trust though and shit like that is important. Along with you claiming your free national name, along with you capturing the vessel, getting your birth certificate authenticated, appointing the vessel, you being the signatory, you appointing that vessel as a trustee for the trust on behalf of the trust. And then you coming back and selling the ship, and you coming back signing for it on my way of contract or agreement, or whatever the case may be. It's something to that effect. Y'all get where I'm going. This is why this stuff is important though, because when you do this, it gives you power. Then you gotta, when you can back yourself with something that's like worth something like silver or gold, or let's say coffee beans was worth something or something like that, or something that got some real value that's worth more than money. You know what I'm saying? You'll be surprised the shit you can do with something that's worth of value. But come up with you a bond, you put the treasury on file, you contract with them, you get them a certain amount to handle some obligations. There you go. You lawful consideration, you got a trust, you a living man, you not a corporation no more. So you as a living man is cooperating with a dead entity, so you give them life. This is why they say it's power in your signature. Your signature give hold to a document. Like when people go to jail, they need your signature. You don't have to consent to this shit at all. But all this shit come because niggas don't know shit. They ain't got no information. Even when the police stop you, nigga, you don't even have to say nothing. Even if they take it to jail, you ain't got to say nothing in. You ain't got to say shit, but we don't know shit though. But this why this once again is why it's important. You can do that. You do all that. You contract with the government or whoever, the treasury, whoever the fuck you contracting. Well, you let these folks know that you got this shit together, so you can be protected. And if they violate it, they can lose their job. And these motherfuckers already got shit that they got for robbing people of their estates and shit like that, land, houses, neighborhoods getting built, all that. So you think they gonna lose all that and miss an opportunity? They gonna violate the contract that you got and you giving them some money, some real money, not no motherfucking Federal Reserve notes. So this the thing. This another misconception I'm learning in this Morris movement. Shout out to Toriano. Y'all talk about the government, but y'all don't know how they operate. You don't know what they do. You don't know the rules they gotta follow. You don't know all the shit that they got in place. So y'all talking shit about the government taking from y'all. You don't even know how to claim your motherfucking standards. You don't even know how to contract with the government or whoever the fuck you talking about. You can contract with these people, but see, y'all got that broke ass mentality and y'all don't want to go read the information and see how the fuck to do this. Y'all talk shit about these folks because y'all don't know how to contract with these folks properly. Once you claim your estate and your status, your minor estate. And for y'all think y'all gonna hop up in this shit and get some money, you're not. If you think you're gonna get access to that account, you're not. You probably can, but I ain't did it yet, so I'm not gonna talk too much about it. And if you do find out how to use it, you should only use it to discharge debt. That's why you could come up with your bond. You can get your birth certificate, you can get your birth certificate authenticated. I'm not knocking it. You can do it if you want to do it, do it. But on the same token, too, that's why you come up with your own bond too, your own insurance. Use it for the right shit. Come up with businesses off this bond so you can accumulate some wealth to put back into them. Get what I'm saying? You jump in the matrix, you get assets out the matrix, you pull it out the matrix, out the water, put it in your trust on land, document it, transfer your interests and things of that nature. You see what I'm saying? I'm just giving a basic understanding of how I'm learning. You see what I'm saying? I'm not no expert in real estate and trust. That's why I'm trying to learn it. And once I do learn it, shit, there you go. But that's my little go for the day, man. A lot of misconceptions in the movement come from motherfuckers having insufficient knowledge and they don't want to read it and they won't feel like that they ain't got to read no more. It is gonna be a point where you do a lot of read to where you're gonna read so much that your intuition gonna put scenarios and puzzle pieces together based off the information you putting inside your mental bank. So you do need to read, but don't get overwhelmed. Don't be reading so much to where you getting overwhelmed and it's overtaking you, what you got going. I did this video. The reason I did this video right here is because I'm like, bro, what's going on? I did this video because I got this other one low. If this video start, it's gonna be probably this little part, it's gonna start chipping up. It's gonna start chipping and scratching up. It's gonna start scratching up. Because you know how I've even connected to people Wi-Fi. In a little way, I might go to a different location and do another video really on Naruto. No, I say I might, because I do these videos and I try to I do these videos, but sometimes they be long. And with the videos being longer, they using more data, more gigabytes. And then when I export it, cause see what I do, the last video that I'm doing, I did it on Movies Maker, so I don't really have to necessarily be on Zoom. I just like to use Zoom, But I can really do it on Movies Maker. I can do everything, record it right there. But a lot of times I like to be around some Wi-Fi so I can connect to the internet. And if I'm sharing my screen, I can look certain stuff up. But a lot of times if I'm just talking about some things, I really can make videos really based on shit I got on my laptop. And I'm really gonna start doing it, read from stuff I got on my laptop. But most of the time when I do videos, that's what takes me so long because I might gotta move around. I might gotta go make this move. I might have to go make that move. The video I might get to rotate. And I wasn't even expecting this video to be long. I don't even know how long it's gonna be till this video get converted into a media file on Zoom. This video wasn't even supposed to be this long, but I got them. When you get to rotating, your mind really on that type of level of information. That's how it go. So that's why my videos be taking long to get uploaded. Because when I put this bitch on Windows Movie Maker, I put some pictures on there, put an audio song for the opening intro, put an audio song for the outro. It's gonna be about 7-8 gigabytes. So that's a lot of memory to process. So I gotta move around. I gotta have my laptop plugged up in the truck while I'm moving. Cause I got an adapter to where I can plug my laptop up in the truck. I got to do all that. So that's what be taking me long. I mean, I might go around with somebody's house, get to sit, get to chopping it up, talking. Then I'll fuck around and the laptop won't be plugged up. It'll go dead. And when I export these videos from Movies Maker, it got to go straight through. The laptop can't shut off for an hour. Then I pop the screen back on, or it can't go dead because wherever it left off when it exporting, like right now it's exporting. Let's say this video on 54%. So let's say that 54, say this video 3 hours and 3 minutes long, which I know it's not that long. I hope not. I hope it's just an hour or something. But say this video an hour and 3 minutes long, or 3 hours and 3 minutes long. If it's a 55% and this bitch go dead and it stop, I'm doing something. I forget. Because this video was supposed to be exported yesterday, but I be moving. So if that, let's say that 55% mark is at the hour and 42-minute mark of the video, around that point of the video, since it's stopped and the laptop shut down, you're gonna experience technical difficulties, and that's what it is. That's what happened with my anime video that I had did. That's why I took that video so long, because I was trying to export it and it took all day, and I was moving around. I was letting the laptop go to sleep, with keeping the motherfucker plugged up. And then when I looked up, I looked at the video, I got to notice that certain parts was freezing up, but I'm like, that's probably the points why I had stopped or it went dead and shit like that. So that's really what be pushing me to do these videos too. I'll export a video that I just did, and then I'll do another video while I'm waiting for it to export. So even when I get off here, I'm gonna be moving around. This thing will probably take another hour for it to finish, or 2 hours, because it's the estimated size of it is 6 gigabytes and 6 gigabytes and 57 megabytes. That's what the estimate size of this video that I did, talking about my personal rate of development and my stages of ascensions. Not the ascensions, but ascensions that I went through. But I'm gonna go end this one off right here, man. I just wanted to share a few misconceptions, man. The M.I.Ms, man. The misconceptions in the movement due to insufficient knowledge and lack of studying. Shit, nigga, I never stop studying. But anyway, that's this. Just another little masterpiece. I'm gonna end this one off. I'm gonna do me a few little job apps. I'm gonna go back to work. Do me a few job apps so I can get some little extra income rolling in and convert it into some important shit. And we're gonna go from there. Peace, love, and light to y'all. Y'all have a grand day. Happy Mercurian day. Y'all stay up, stay tight, stay rooted, stay well and rooted in this retrograde still. It's long.